And welcome everybody here to the Esports Racing Network. As tonight we have the National Auto Racing Club and the Dirt Late Model Series presented by the School of Sim Racing. My name is Thomas Brandon, and I'm joined in the booth by my man Jordan Eder. Jordan, tonight we've got Fairbury, we've got the late models. How hard do you think it's going to be for these guys to pass tonight, and how important do you think qualifying is going to be setting up this feature event?
Yeah, Tommy, as per usual, qualifying is going to play a pivotal part here. These cars are a little bit bigger than the sprint cars, and guys in the sprint cars have a tough time passing here. So I can only imagine how difficult it's going to be for these guys in the late models to get around.
Absolutely. Having driven here myself in just about every car on the sim that's dirt, these are, in my opinion, one of the toughest to get around this track and actually pass. The only thing tougher is the big block modifieds, and that's just because those things are hard to pass everywhere. But the late models are hard just because they're so big. So it'll be really interesting to see how these guys handle it tonight on such a short little bull ring.
Should definitely be interesting to see. I'm excited to see how this is going to play out.
Yes, I'm looking forward to it as well, as we should have qualifying going on right now on the track. And it looks like so far Kyler Bruce is number one with a 12.23, and really, really tight, as you can see. Just the top 10 cars separated by just 3.5 tenths of a second. So definitely going to be some tight racing here tonight.
Freeberg takes the top spot there with a 12.17.
Yeah, and he was fast last week, and if you remember, he was running up front with the late models. We have all kinds of little twists and turns that we see here with the format this season. We changed things up this season where qualifying sets the heat races, and then the top two from each heat race four go to the feature. The top two are then put into a random draw, and they are redrawn for their start in the feature. And last week, Freeberg was definitely one of the cars to beat after Travis St. Clair had to start in the back of the field after being the first to invoke the hot shoe rule, winning two races in a row.
Yeah, and those two that you mentioned there, St. Clair and Freeberg, are only separated by 5 points here in the standings, with St. Clair having the advantage, like you said, having winning those two races.
He's been definitely on this season, picking up right where he left off last season. And last season he was the series champion, pulling off an amazing season, scoring 8 victories, and pretty much just dominated the entire season last year in 2021.
And as it sits right now, he's sitting in fourth position after qualifying, so he's going to definitely have a good start in the heat race, and that'll probably, as long as he doesn't do anything wrong there, should have him in a good position in the feature to start. So we'll see what he can do.
Yeah, and tonight we've only got 18 cars here for the event, so everyone will make the feature. But with that car count, we'll probably have only 3 heat races, which means we'll get through those really, really quick. And that also means that our redraw tonight is only going to be affecting the first 6 cars, which means that even if you get some bad luck and have to start from the 6th position, you're not going to be that far away from the front of the pack.
And if we do only have 3 heats as it stands now, well, that front row of Heat 1 is going to be those two we just talked about, Freeberg and St. Clair. So that'll be the start of the battle early on in the night here. So that should be exciting to watch.
Yeah, it will. It'll be really interesting to see Freeberg, the only other driver to win a race this season, as like I said, St. Clair won the first two. Freeberg got the win last week. St. Clair actually battled his way back up through the field after having to take that EOL, but unfortunately for him, got into a little bit of trouble and found himself falling back after he had banged up the car a little bit, which definitely cost him in the points, as he is holding on to the points lead right now, but only a mere 5 points ahead of Freeberg. And in fact, after him, it's just 1 point separating the next 4 positions. So really tight points battle already in the season. But it looks like our first heat race is lining up on the track right now, and we've got the man that we were just talking about, last week's winner at Charlotte, Brandon Freeberg, and outside of him is Travis St. Clair. In row number 2 on the inside is Scott Monksgaard, and outside of Monksgaard is Chase Barbara.
And rounding out the field here in row 3 is going to be Colton Willett in the 5th position, and the 6th will be Jack Reitz.
All right, so we've got 6 cars. Top 4 will go to straight to the feature. The last 2 will go to the Last Chance Constellation. Like we said, everybody will be making the show tonight, but you want to finish in that top 4 just to get yourself a much better starting position in the feature, and preferably the top 2 so you can get a shot at that redraw and potentially the front row.
Yeah, starting on the front row of the feature at this track is going to be huge for these drivers here, because once you get into the traffic, it's pretty much anyone's game here. There is no blue flag rules in dirt track racing.
No, there's not any blue flag rules in dirt track racing. Last weekend, running the 24 Hours of Daytona was my first experience with blue flags. I'd never seen one of those before, and yes, we do not use them on the dirt tracks. don't have any room for that.
Looks like we finally got the 6 cars on the grid, and they're pulling away for the couple pace laps here. Getting ready for this exciting night here we got ahead of us, Tommy.
That's right, and the pace laps will go fast here. Like we said, Fairbury is a bull ring, just a quarter mile. Not much banking on the track, just a little bit when you get out up towards the wall, which is definitely where you're going to see most everybody jump up to, at least early on. And tonight, once the track slicks off, you might see these guys head down towards the middle and the bottom. A little bit different with these cars than you see in the wing sprints. These things a little bit harder to find that speed on the bottom, where you can just keep that momentum up top. But we'll see what happens here as the pace truck is off and we are underway, and Freeberg jumps out to an early lead over St. Clair, Barbara, and Monksgaard, your top 4.
You're going to see them getting a single file here. They're probably just going to follow each other around the top. They're not going to force their hand right here unless those bottom 6 or the bottom 2 guys there are going to try to fight for those last transfer spots.
Absolutely. Right now, Freeberg with St. Clair close in tow right behind him, and Barbara right behind the 2 of them. And like you said, both of them up on the wall, running that cushion in a single file line.
Yeah, I got a feeling this is how it's going to be for this entire heat race here until this track slicks off. When it comes feature time, I think that's when the real racy stuff's going to start happening. You're going to see some guys trying out new lines.
Yeah, that's usually what happens here. It takes a little while for the track to slick off, and until then, it's pretty much what you see. These guys are going to line up single file, pound that cushion, and if someone can get a run, you might see the occasional slide job, but right now, with the track the way it is, these guys are just going to be carrying way too much momentum for anybody to be able to take a chance or make a move.
Yeah, like you said, it does look like St. Clair is getting a little bit closer to the leader there, but it's just not enough. The leader's carrying too much speed there for him to really catch up to him to make a move.
Yeah, Freeberg definitely got that car hooked up, as we've got just 3 laps to go this time by.
The white flag here looks like they're going to finish just about how they started here, barring some crazy technical difficulties for any of these drivers.
Yeah, St. Clair does throw it in there on the bottom, but he's not going to get the run off of it. As you can see, Freeberg just pulls away, and he is going to come home with the checkered flag and the win here in heat race number 1. So Brandon Freeberg, Travis St. Clair, Chase Barbara, and Jack Reitz, your top 4 that will go straight to the feature, and Freeburg and St. Clair, the top 2 in the redraw. So heat race 1 is now in the books, and we've got heat race number 2 lining up on the track. And on the pole is Kyler Bruce, and outside of Bruce is Ryan Wagenschutz. Then in row number 2 is Joey Neese, and outside of Neese, the Indiana legend, making his been a long time since we've seen old Michael Birthday, but good to have him back.
Absolutely. Been a long time and couldn't be happier to see that guy around. But in the last row here is Todd Hutton on the inside. Outside of him will be Philip Neese.
All right, everybody. So once again, we have got 10 laps. Top 4 will go straight to the feature. Top 2 will put themselves in the redraw for potentially that front row start in the 40-lap main event. And we should be going green this time by.
You do see the top starting to slick off a little bit, but I wonder how long it'll take for that cushion to get all the way to the wall to where these guys are going to have to start running different lines, but we're green.
Yes, we are, and Bruce jumps out to a quick lead as we've got Bruce, Wagenschutz, and Birthday right behind him.
And again, just like Heat 1 here, they're all going to get in a single file line and just try to carry as much momentum as they can. Oh, we got a guy going for a slide job here. It's just not going to be enough. That top line is just carrying too much momentum for that.
Yes, that is what is going on. Kyle Bruce definitely got that top going, and that's one of the advantages that you have with these cars. You know, unlike a sprint car where the wheels are exposed, and if you hit that wall, you pay for it. Here, you've got these nice things called fenders that really protect them. So you can kind of just bounce off that thing, and it not as big of a penalty as it is in some of the other cars. So these guys can really get up there, even above that slick, and make these cars work and still carry a lot of speed through these corners.
Yeah, and even if you do take a little bit of damage at a track like this, your aerodynamics aren't going to absolutely kill your speed here. You're more or less hoping that nothing gets broken onto the axles. We got another slide job here in 3 and 4, but again, that top line just carrying too much momentum for Birthday there.
Yeah, there's just too much speed right now. The track's still really, really tacky. And as you can see, Kyler Bruce just pulling away as Wagenschutz made a couple of moves to the bottom, and he's already fallen back almost a second and a half of Bruce. Just that 2 attempts at the low line, and that's how much time he's lost with Bruce up there on the cushion.
Yeah, right now that top line is absolutely dominant. So until that starts to go away, I'm curious to see if Heat 3 is going to be the same, and maybe with these consolation races we'll get that track burned in. I'm excited to see some racing once this starts flicking off.
Yeah, me too, as we've got 2 laps to go here, and it looks like we actually might have a little bit of action here for the final transfer spot, as Michael Birthday is starting to feel some pressure from Philip Neese and Todd Hutton, as we now have 1 lap to go, as Bruce has just now taken the white flag.
Yeah, I think about a lap ago, I saw Michael Birthday maybe tag the wall in 3 and 4, and that might have hurt him on some of his momentum there, and that's what cost him that 3rd position.
But he was able to hold on for that 4th and final transfer spot. So Kyler Bruce gets the win here in heat race number 2, followed by Ryan Wagenschutz for that number 2 spot in tonight's redraw. So your 3rd and final heat race is now gridding up on the track. And on the pole is Jeremy Prey, and outside of Prey is Scott Smith. Then in row number 2 on the inside is Jason Korn, and outside of Korn is Brandon Holtmeyer.
Row 3 this time is Dylan Babcock, and outside of him is Ryan Burkhart to bring out the field here for this 3rd and final heat race.
All right, so once again, 10 laps. Top 4 go straight to the feature with the top 2 in tonight's redraw. We should only have 1 consolation tonight, so I would expect these guys to run the warm-up tonight to get this track really run in, so we can see a little bit more side-by-side racing than what we've seen so far.
That's right. Like you were talking about those fenders, I'd like to see them get used a little bit here. See some guys making some contact and making some passes.
Yes, definitely. Definitely would like to see that. We we are under green as Prey jumps out to a quick lead. But Scott Smith looks for that inside move, and it might get it as they are too wide down the backstretch, and Prey gets into the wall there, which is going to cost him a little bit of speed and potentially the lead, as him and Scott Smith are side by side, followed by Colton and Holtmeyer, as they are now 4 cars battling for this #1 spot.
Yeah, you see them side by side here, but again, Jeremy Prey, once he gets his momentum up on that top side, it's just a little too much. That inside was starting to seem like it was going to get some drive off the corners, but in the end, they're back to single file again.
Yes, they are, as we've got Prey, Smith, Holtmeyer, and Korn, your top 4 here in heat race #3.
I'm interested to see here if these guys might have felt a little bit something there throwing those sliders. Maybe they're just going to hold on to it for the last lap here, see if they can make us pass here, or if they're just going to hold off to the feature.
Yeah, that is potentially an option, especially if you're in one of those transfer positions. You might not want to take a gamble, but there we see Prey get into the wall, and that's going to allow Scott Smith to get his nose up there. Let's see if he makes a move as he dives down to the bottom there, as Prey once again bounces it off the wall. And this time bounces off of Smith, and he gets into trouble, and he's going to lose 3 positions, it looks like. Oh no, only 2 as he battles back on the top, as now it's Scott Smith and Brandon Holtmeyer in the #2 position. So Smith able to take advantage of Prey's little bobble there, getting up into the wall.
And Prey right there again slides up in 3 and 4, so now he's battling for that 3rd position. He may not give it up here since he does have that top side, but if he gets into that slick, he's going to have some more problems like he did in the 2 laps ago.
Yeah, Prey's car might be a little damaged. He has bounced it off the wall quite a few times with that right front. Doesn't take much to bend the front end on these things, especially when you're at a track like this. Holtmeyer looking to pass Smith on the outside as he looks to cut down there, as we have 1 lap to go with the battle here for the lead, with Scott Smith leading Brandon Holtmeyer right now. As Holtmeyer looks to the outside, he's got to run. Will he get him? Coming out of turn #4 here, and he does. Brandon Holtmeyer gets the win.
Wow. That was awesome. That's what I wanted to see in the first 2 heats. Yeah.
Absolutely. Nice drive by Brandon Holtmeyer, coming from 4th to 1st. So Holtmeyer and Smith put themselves in the redraw for tonight.
And you notice there that middle line, it looked like it was starting to come in there, so maybe we're trending towards getting more than just 1 line here until these guys can start making some passes like we were talking about earlier, getting some excitement here.
Yeah, absolutely. That would be awesome to see. Maybe in this consolation we'll see a little bit more of that, as they are actually now taking their spots on the track, as Colton Willett will lead us here to the green in tonight's consolation. And outside of him is Philip Neese. In row #2 on the inside is Dylan Babcock, and outside of Babcock is Scott Monksgard.
And bringing up the field here in this consolation is Todd Hutton on the inside of row 3. Outside of him is Ryan Burkhart.
All right, so last chance consolation. Everybody will make the feature. This is just to set positions for the A main event, as we have got Willett, Neese, Monksgard, Babcock, Burkhart, and Hutton. So all 6 once again will make it to the feature after this 12-lap consolation.
And you see that cushion there, it's getting closer and closer to that wall, so I'm really looking forward to how this feature is going to play out when that cushion is all the way up to the wall. These guys are going to be bouncing off the walls, throwing sliders. It's going to be a lot of fun here in this feature coming up after this LCQ.
Yes, it will be. Absolutely. And we are under green as Willett jumps out to a quick lead over Neese, but Neese on that top gets the run and is able to get around him.
Yeah, it looked like he got a little tight there in 1 and 2, had to check up and give up that 1st place position. Now he gets a little loose out of 4 and comes down and makes contact again.
So Willett bouncing off that wall, having a little bit of trouble, and allows Neese to pull away.
Oh, we got contact at it too.
Contact in the back with Burkhart and Babcock. And it looks like Monksgard trying to avoid that there. He ends up in the wall.
It looks like if cars are riding on that cushion, it is getting a little bumpier for them, and it's kind of throwing them back into that wall, and that's what's causing these guys some issues right now, is they get tight in the middle of the corner.
Yeah, and these things are usually pretty tight when you drive them. It's very, very. If they're too loose, then they're not fast, and it's a really fine line. A lot of times you are fighting a tight condition with these cars, and when you get up on that wall like that, it can be really, really hard when you're that close to the cushion and the thing don't want to turn.
Right now, it looks like we're seeing guys running different variations of line here. I see a couple of guys running the top. This guy here is running the middle, just to see, maybe he's just trying to see what's there to get some homework done for this feature, see if he can change his setup a little bit.
Yeah, definitely not a bad idea to start figuring out where you want to run and how your car is going to work, because like we said, it's a tight track, but 40 laps, although it may seem like a long time, can happen really, really fast here at Fairbury.
Yeah, at these little bull rings, 40 laps, it goes by in the blink of an eye if you're the driver here, especially if you don't get many cautions. So.
Yes, absolutely. But back up front, Philip Neese has just pulled away from Colton Willett and Dylan Babcock as he's just taken the white flag here, looking to get the win here in tonight's last chance qualifier of the Dirt Rally Bible Series here at Fairbury, and he is gonna get it. So Philip Neese finishes first, followed by Colton Willett, Dylan Babcock, Ryan Burkhart, and Todd Hutton, your top 5. All right, everybody, we are going to take just a moment here as these guys run in the track, and we will be right back in just a minute for tonight's 40-lap A main event. All right, everybody, we are back as we are just wrapping up the warm-up here. We've got about a little less than 20 seconds here running this track in, as these guys have all been out there running this thing in. Hopefully we will see a lot of passing tonight, as we've got cars everywhere on this track. But Jordan, you've seen the heat races, you saw the consolation. We finally saw some side-by-side battling in the last 2 races that we had there, and now these guys have had a full 5 minutes to run this track in. What do you think we're going to see in tonight's feature, especially with Travis St. Clair getting the redraw and starting on the pole for tonight's 40-lap main event?
Oh, like you said, after we've had all those races, this track's really worn in now. So I'm really looking forward to us having some side-by-side racing. And like you said, Travis St. Clair winning that redraw is huge for him, because it's going to give him that chance to get out to an early lead and try to pull away from everybody else as they battle for positions behind him. But this track is small, and he is very fast, so I'm sure he's going to catch up to the back of the pack fairly quickly. We'll see how he navigates that, and it's going to be a lot of fun, I think.
Absolutely, it is. So on pole tonight, we are going to have Travis St. Clair, and outside of him will be Kyler Bruce. Then on the inside of row number 2, it will be Brandon Freeberg, followed by Brandon Holtmeyer. Then in row number 3, it will be Scott Smith and Ryan Wagenschutz. And then in row number 4, it will be Joey Neese and Chase Barbara.
Next row here, starting position 9, will be Jeremy Prey. On his outside is Jack Reitz. The next row here is the Indiana legend himself, Michael Birthday, starting 11th. And on his outside is Jason Korn.
Then we've got Philip Neese, our last chance qualifier winner. Outside of him is Colton Willett. And then starting 15th is Dylan Babcock. And outside of him is Ryan Burkhardt.
And rounding out our field here is going to be Todd Hutton on the 17th spot and Scott Monksguard. Field's going to get set here before they take the green flag. 40 laps here, Tommy. It's going to be a lot of fun.
We are underway as St. Clair jumps out to an early lead over Bruce and Freeberg.
Saw Freeberg kind of get a good start there too, just didn't want to run into the back of St. Clair. St. Clair's already going to that bottom, trying the slider here now in 1 and 2. He's going to get up all that tack that he can to get a good drive on.
Yes, he is. And he is pretty much leaving the rest of the field, as Kyler Bruce, Brandon Freeberg, and Brandon Holtmeyer are all battling for that second place position, as there is a hornet's nest of cars all battling side by side, allowing St. Clair to just slowly pull away from the rest of the field.
You do see, as he's coming out of turn 2, the last place car is coming out of turn 4, so he's already getting closer to the tail end here. Like I said, it's going to be real interesting to see how he's going to weave his way through the traffic when he does get there. And if Bruce and Freeberg are going to have a chance to catch up to him and maybe even pass him.
Absolutely. As you can see right now, we've got ourselves 2 wide here, as Ryan Wagenschutz and Scott Smith are battling out with Brandon Holtmeyer right in front of them. That is a battle for 4th, 5th, and 6th position.
You see that top lane is not as dominant as it was in those heat races. That bottom lane starting to come in here now. Those guys are getting a good drive off the corners.
Yes, they are. As you can see, we've got multiple groups as they are 3 wide out of turn 2, as Smith on the inside there looking to get around Barbara, but just cannot get the run, as Barbara's got that middle of the track really working right now. Him and Wagenschutz both, as they're just going right through the middle of the slick there, and it seems to be working for him.
Yeah, that 23 car there, you can see him. He gets that little bit of grip in there, and he's almost having to check up because he's getting too much of a run on those guys. If they're running to that line that he wants, he might have to try the bottom or go to the top if he wants to pass those guys.
Yeah, it looks like he's trying to set up a move here on Wagenschutz, but just cannot get the run that he needs to get around him. And while this is all going on in here in the middle of the pack, Travis St. Clair is already feeling the pressure as Kyler Bruce has caught up with him and is on his tail, as we've got ourselves a battle for the lead as Bruce looks to throw a slide job there on St. Clair and doesn't get it. He holds up as St. Clair makes it around him, coming out of turn 4 there.
Yeah, he was smart to back out of that there. He obviously wasn't going to clear him, and instead of taking himself and the leader out, he thought better of it. He's going to live to fight another day here. As you see, they're starting to catch up here to this lap traffic that are racing each other. They're taking on multiple lines here, so it's about to get dicey.
Yes, it is. These guys have already caught lap traffic, and we are not even at the halfway point as they are going to find themselves in a gaggle of cars as we've got 3 or 4 of them right in front of them as the leaders, St. Clair and Bruce, are catching up to them, and that's going to also allow Brandon Freeberg to probably close up on their tailgates.
And Freeberg's probably just going to sit back and let this play out and see how these guys are going to get through the traffic. Maybe he can be the beneficiary of some contact here. But it looks like the lap cars are starting to spread out, so maybe it's going to be easy for St. Clair here.
It might be. Bruce went for another pass, but wasn't able to get it. He just can't seem to get that momentum off the corners. Oh, there's a little bit of contact there in front of our leaders, but nothing happened there as Scott Monkstar was able to pull it together after being hit there coming out of turn 4, and he's able to just hold on to his line, but that allowed St. Clair to get by, and that allowed Bruce to get held up.
It looks like he just decided to pull it into the pits there. He did do a good job of saving that out of turn 4, but maybe his car might just not be feeling the way he wants it to. St. Clair here is pulling up to another lap car here. Looks like he wants to run the top line, just can't get around him, and that's giving the second and third place guys a chance to get right under his tail tank. We got another race here for the lead with the lap car involved.
Yes, we do.
Wanted to throw another slide job there, just didn't have the momentum to clear, and he pulls back in behind, and they're going to get back in line here, see if they can get enough momentum here. We've got 17 to go, so we're past the halfway point. Not one caution yet. Hopefully I don't jinx that.
Yeah, hopefully not. As Bruce goes for the slide job and cannot get it.
You see our top 3 drivers are nose to tail right now, even side by side going into the corners. He's just not enough momentum there to throw the slider, and it's almost costing him the second position. Leaders here are going to start catching up to even more lap traffic, but it does look like they are spread out enough to where it's not going to cause too much of an issue for the leaders here. Oh, we got trouble in 3 and 4 there as Travis St. Clair gets involved with the lap car, and he's going to lose the lead and maybe the second position as the yellow does come out.
Yes, it does.
Depending on where the cars were when that caution came out, we could have an interesting shakeup here in our top 3. Gotcha.
Oh, okay, 1 second.
Tommy, you gotta enter as a watcher, not a driver.
Clear penalties. Oh, how do I clear everyone? Exclamation point, clear all. Hold on, it's getting ready to go green.
Jake, where you at?
What?
Where you at, man?
I'm
I
on
don't
the
see you.
track.
I'm so used to you being right next to me.
Oh. Don't even say that. You say you don't see me. I've had that happen. I had that happen last week.
I don't know how to clear. Hold on.
You have to have the text chat.
How do I type?
You have a hotkey.
Hit the T.
It's T?
Yeah.
Never noticed this, but that Lance Munskard drives the Lance
Did that
Crackers
work?
car.
It says Tommy Brandon cannot have penalties cleared. Yeah.
And we are back under green as Kyler Bruce is now the leader here, followed by Travis St. Clair, Brandon Freeberg, and Chase Barbara.
There's
And
more
another
contact in the
caution,
middle of the field there.
as another caution is going to fly there. As we had quite the pile up there coming out of turn number 4.
Looks like someone almost got turned over.
Yeah, it looks like Philip Neese there got off the wall there and turned over, and that's what brought out that caution.
I think we have about 7 laps to go here, and Travis St. Cloud, after pretty much leading the entire race, finds himself in second position with a little bit of work here to do.
All right, pace truck is off, and we are back under green. Kyler Bruce jumps out to the lead once again over Travis St. Clair and Brandon Freeberg, with Brandon Holtmeyer and Chase Barber rounding out the top 5.
St. Cloud's going to run it down into that inside. He had some success there earlier, but we'll see if that's going to pay off here. We got 7 laps to go now.
And as St. Clair goes to the bottom, that's going to open up the door for Brandon Freeberg as he looks to the outside now, and he gets around Travis St. Clair as St. Clair moves back up to the top, cutting off Holtmeyer from getting around him as well.
And it looks like right now it's going to be another nose to tail. These guys are going to try to carry as much momentum as they can before they try to make a pass. We're down to 5 laps to go here.
St. Clair looks to the bottom, tries to get a run on Freeberg and cannot make it stick, and that's going to allow Kyler Bruce to pull ever so slightly away from the number 2 position there, as we've got just 3 laps to go this time by.
And Kyler Bruce is loving seeing what's going on behind him with those 2 guys battling, because like you said, that just gives him the chance to slowly pull away from these guys. And coming to the 2 to go this time by, it looks like we're running out of time.
Yes, it does. Bruce definitely looks like to be the man to beat, as he has got himself a nice lead here over Freeberg and St. Clair, who's now fallen back to Brandon Holtmeyer in that 4th position, as we are white flag here for Kyler Bruce at Fairbury.
Yep, and he's just too far ahead for anyone to make a move on him, so he's going to get the victory here at Fairbury, followed by Freeberg, St. Clair. Barbara will take up 4th, and rounding out top 5 is the number 76 of Holtmeyer.
So good run tonight for Kyler Bruce as he gets the win over Brandon Freeberg and Travis St. Clair. So Bruce gets the win over last week's winner, and then the winner of weeks 1 and 2 here tonight at Fairbury. And that's going to definitely tighten things up in the point standings, as Bruce came into the night in 4th, just 1 point behind Barbara in 3rd, and 7 points behind St. Clair in the lead. So definitely will be interesting to see where these guys shake up after all the points are settled tonight.
Absolutely. It's going to be another tight race here, or top tight points battle for this whole season, I think.
Yes, it will. These guys have been really, really good so far. Like we said, St. Clair was very dominant last season, but Kyler Bruce actually was a NARC champion a couple seasons ago in the Pro Late Model Series. So up in the Super Late Models now, and definitely showing he's got what it takes to pull off the wins here as he gets the win tonight in the 40-lap feature event here at Fairbury. All right, so it looks like our final results on the night. That's for the warm-up. I don't need that. What are you doing to me there? Overlay. There we go. So, tonight's winner, once again, Kyler Bruce, followed by Brandon Freeberg, Travis St. Clair rounding out your podium. Then it's Chase Barbara, Brandon Holtmeyer, your top 5, with Colton Willett, Jason Korn, Joey Neese, Scott Smith, and Ryan Wagenschutz, your top 10, with Philip Neese, Dylan Babcock, Ryan Burkhart, Michael Birthday, Jeremy Prey, Todd Hutton, Scott Monksgard, and Jack Reitz rounding out the field. So that's going to do it all for us here at Fairbury. Thank you guys very much for joining us here on the Esports Racing Network. My name is Tommy Brandon, and with me in the booth, Jordan Eder. Thank you guys very much once again, and until next time, which will be in about 30 minutes for the All-Star race, until then, take care.